This video includes a discussion of the Theremini's firmware version 1.1 that was released by Moog in December of 2014, and also the editor software for the Macintosh and Windows platforms that were released by Moog in February of 2015. And so my Theremini has the version 1.1, and the big advantage of the firmware update was that it added a number of features to the Theremini, and it also made the Theremini a lot easier to play. If you check the setup button, you could see that by pressing the scale, you go into the setup mode, and by clicking the root, you go into the calibration mode. We're going to talk about the setup mode, and so we're going to press the setup and scale button, and that puts us in the setup mode. We're going to step through these. There's one for master volume, note range, highest note to lowest note, auto mute, tuning, and the MIDI and CV setup. But the one I want to talk about now is the advanced setup. And this is how you get into the mode where the Theremini acts more like a analog theremin. And so to get into the advanced setup, we need to press the effect button. And you can see here that there is a pitch response setting, and it has three values: slow, medium, and fast. Now the Theremini comes with the standard setting of medium, and so that's what I've kept it on. The next item you can change is how long the wait time is during the calibration process, and that's set up at 3 seconds. But the third item is the one I'm going to talk about now, and it's the Theremin mode. And with it on, that puts the Theremini in the mode that is more like an analog theremin. And so we can change it to off. With the Theremin mode off, the pitch correction works in this manner. With it all the way in the off position, you can see you have a continuous slide between notes, as in an analog theremin. If we turn the pitch correction all the way up, instead you have individual notes. And this is the mode that the original Theremini came with when I bought it last year. And when I first started playing it, I would put the pitch correction halfway at 50%, and I would try learning how to play the Theremini using that setting. But since the firmware update, I've changed the Theremin mode to on, so that it's more like an analog theremin. I found it much easier to play that way. So let's just step through these advanced setup. And here I'm using a Wakeman 1 preset that I downloaded off the internet. And what I'd like to do now is give a demonstration of playing the Theremini. Keep in mind that I'm a beginner, and the song I'm going to play is an easy song. It's the theme from Star Trek. And for that song, I like to use the preset that's called Spit Trumpet, and that preset I downloaded offline. And we're going to have to put that preset, because it's in the minor third scale, to the chromatic scale for me to play the song. And so here it is. This is a demonstration of Moog's Theremini editor software. They just released it in February of 2015. It comes in two versions. One is for Macintosh computers and the other is for Windows computers. I'm running the Windows version, but I would imagine that the Macintosh version is nearly identical. We've connected our Theremini to our computer using a USB cable, and we run the editor software, and this is the image that appears. And the first thing you need to do is click on this button. It's called the sync button. That's alongside the Theremin presets button, and it syncs the library presets with the Theremin presets. We can see here we have the classic Theremin sound. We have this second one is the super fat saw sound. If we look at the basic editor options, we see we have scale and a pitch correction knob. If we change that all the way to the right, that turns pitch correction on, and only the exact notes in that Aeolian scale will be played. If we changed the pitch correction knob to all the way off, then we see that the notes slide as in a classic theremin. If we change the scales, you can see there are very many scales on the Theremini. Say we changed it to the fifth selection, fifth scale. And we turned pitch correction all the way on, we would see that we can't really play a wrong note. So that's an explanation of the scales and pitch correction. And normally we would set the scale at chromatic for playing standard tunes. And I usually keep the pitch correction all the way off. If we look at the next section, has three controls for waveform. Those three controls only are activated for the Moog 1 and the ether wave selections, but for all others they're disabled, so they're grayed out on the display. For the supersaw preset, you can see that it uses a supersaw waveform. We can change that to sine. We get a different sounding preset. We can change it to triangle, and the supersaw, which is what's built into the preset. And if we go to Moog 1 or Etherwave 1, as I said before, the scan rate buttons over here will be activated. So we're on Moog 1 right now, and if we increase the scan amount, and increase the scan rate and the scan position, we can see the effect of that on the preset. Okay, now we'll change the waveform to bright. You'll note the change, and hollow, and ether wave. You'll notice if we choose that waveform, scan rate controls are activated. So if we increase the scan amount, increase the scan rate, and the scan position, we can hear the effect of that change on that preset. Okay, but we'll keep it in that mode, and the next section is the filter type, and we can select from off, low pass, band pass, high pass, and notch. So we'll turn that off and then turn the low pass on, and you have these cutoff and resonance and pitch track controls that you could adjust as required. The next section is for the delay type, and the delay type ranges from off, short delay, medium delay, and long delay. If we turn it off, it's more of a pure sound without any delay at all. If we go into the long delay, we can actually increase the feedback and its amount and the delay time, and you can see the difference there in the delay. So that's a nice function. Okay, if we go to the advanced section, we'll see that we have 5 controls for the volume antenna. And I really haven't played with these much. And we have 3 controls for the pitch antenna, and we also have a pitch transpose control. The third item is the global settings button, and we can control the master volume there, and the lowest note and the highest note. So getting back, if we click the basic button, which is how it originally opens up, we'll now talk about the library presets. If you click on this button next to library presets, it opens the library manager, and we presently have the Theremini factory sounds in place on the Theremini. But if we selected the editor factory library, that's the presets that comes free with the software editor. And if we click the send button, that sends that library of sounds to the Theremini. And we'll click the sync button there, and clicking on different sounds now, we see that those software presets have been sent to the Theremini. What I'm going to show next is the library presets. Again, if we click that button, you can see that I have a number of libraries that I've accumulated over time, under libraries. If you clicked on the all selection, then all of the presets in those libraries are shown on the right-hand preset window, and so I have 334 sounds or preset sounds right now. And I'll show you next how you can create your own library of sounds. What we'll do next is click the New button, and we'll rename this new library to Junk. Okay. Click on OK, and we see that there are no presets in Junk library. So we close that window, and again our editor window opens up, and if we wanted to move any of these presets to the library presets, we could just drag and drop them like so. And so we just moved reel to reel, and next I'll move Moon Howl. Click OK, and maybe we'll select Sparkle Horse, move it over, click OK, and Whistler. So now we have 4 presets in our library. We could transfer as many as 32, which is the limit of presets, and then in our library manager, click on that button, and we're going to save that as Junk. A dialog box opens up to wherever we want to save those libraries. So I'm going to save it as Junk, and I already had a Junk Theremini file, so it's asked if I want to replace it, and I'm going to click yes. Okay. So if we wanted to send that Junk library to the Theremini, we would just click send, and it would send those 4 presets. Okay, I'm going to close out that window, and on my Theremini, those 4 presets were sent. But the Theremini still contains an additional 28 presets for a total of 32. So that's about it. That's a demonstration of the Moog Theremini software editor for Windows.